The DEA, the ATF, and the feds kicking my door in, part 2. So literally, I'm like, I only see this stuff in movies. I only see this stuff in movies. Like, I'm freaking out. I went and picked Jordan up, who was my friend, now husband. Okay, it's like 4 o'clock in the morning, and I just hear a huge bang. My friend runs down the steps. She's at the top of the steps, and I blink, and she's at the bottom. And I've never seen anybody go down the steps that fast in my entire fucking life. So we like hide, because that's what you do. And in my mind, I'm like, why didn't they just like knock on the door? Like, we would have answered. And because I have no fucking clue what's going on. This is a movie, what's going on? And I'm like talking to Jordan, I'm like, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm freaking out right now. Off these flash bombs. What's going on? And they're like, everybody, da 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 da. They have pew-pews bigger than me. No exaggeration. I wish I was exaggerating right now. These things were like bigger than me. They were like in my face like this, like, get up, whore. And I'm like, whore? I'm not a whore, I'm just a drug addict, please help me. They put us in zip ties, whatever. They put a jacket on me. I had no idea whose jacket this was, right? It was like freezing outside. And before I walked out of this, like, I just had this feeling. And before I walked out of this house, I looked at the guy that had me by the arm and I said, sir, this isn't my jacket. Can you please check the pockets of this jacket before I walk out there and get searched? And he says, yes. And he checks the pockets and there's just drugs in every pocket. And I'm like, whose fucking jacket was that? Like, who wasn't sharing? God damn it. Thought in my mind, I'm like, what kind of motherfucker was just sitting in this house and not giving us any of their drugs? I sit on the back of the paddy wagon and they're like asking us all these questions. And my husband, then friend, Jordan, he's like, he would not talk. He's like silent. If you ever had to be or ever were involved in anything, he's definitely the person, he just doesn't speak. And so they're like, if you tell us who you are, we'll let you go. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And at this point, I just look at the cop or whoever, the federal government, whoever, and I'm like, sir, I don't know if I'm coming out of this house or that house over there. And I was like, honestly, once I saw your face, I was relieved. And he didn't believe me. And I said, I saw you, and I just said, thank goodness it's the police, because I thought we were being robbed. He didn't believe a fucking word I said. Told him who I was, and he let us go. I've never run so fast in my life. I fucking flew. So let's fast forward to 3 months later. But all that time in between, I was just steady staying on the drugs, dude. Just spiraling. I mean, each level of rock bottom, it's like right when I thought that it couldn't get worse, oh baby, it did. When I thought that I just couldn't get any more desperate, I did. And it was hell. When you are desperate in any manner of your life, it doesn't matter if you're desperate for drugs, if you're desperate for success, something in your soul is lit on fire and you become a completely different individual. So fast forward to March 11th, 12th to be exact. I'm sitting over at my other friend's house just chilling. The next thing I know, it's like boom, 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 boom. And I'm like, oh no, this sounds familiar. PTSD's kicking in again. My other friend looks at me and he's like, oh my gosh, I think it's the police. And I'm like, oh, great, I'm just thinking like, they're just here to ruin somebody's day. Crystal here? And I'm like, as a matter of fact, she's not. That's what I'm thinking in my mind. But I didn't want no smoke, like literally no more flash bombs, no more pew-pews bigger than me pointed at my face. So I just walked downstairs and I was like, hey, hi, it's me. How are you? And they're like, put your hands behind your back. And I said, for what? And they're like, you're under arrest. They said, obviously, drugs. Literally, that's what he did. Obviously, drugs. And I was, okay, cool. I didn't have anything on me at the time. So they didn't like find anything. And I'm still confused. And I'm like, drugs? Like, what kind of drugs? Because I couldn't wrap my brain around the fact that this is like the United States of America, the federal government arresting me for something bigger than I could ever have imagined. I have no idea what's going on. They take me to jail. What's going on? Asking so many questions. Will I be released in the morning? Do I have court in the morning? And they're just like laughing at me because, bitch, are you fucking dumb? They really think that I know why I'm there. Okay, good job, buddy. I'm glad you thought that. Morning, the feds come back to the jail that I'm at and they transport me to a different jail. Okay, because there's, in the state of Kentucky or anywhere, I guess, there's only certain jails will house federal inmates. And I'm like, wow, this is fucking serious. Finally, I get the indictment. I'm on an indictment with like 50 other fucking people for trafficking 500 grams of every fucking drug that you can imagine. And I mean it. Drugs I've never even seen before. You name it, it was on there. And aiding and abetting a fugitive. I'm like, aiding and abetting a fugitive? When did I do that? You know, who was a fugitive? And I'm trying to think of it in my mind, like, who was it? They don't introduce themselves. They're not like, hi, I'm so-and-so, and by the way, I'm on the run. Hi, I'm so-and-so, and I'm a felon. And you don't meet people and they tell you their deepest, darkest secrets right then and there. You don't fucking know people. But let me explain to you the level of addiction. Lost all sight of why I was really there, like what was really going on, because the only thing I gave a fuck about was getting out to get high. I was like, wow, I really can't wait until I see the judge in the morning, even though I wasn't, because I'm fucking delusional, so that I can get out and really pack a bowl. So I end up sitting in there for months. I see a lawyer and she's like, okay, we've got a proposition for you. And I'm like, oh, great. As long as it involves me getting the fuck out of here, I'm down. Definitely involved me getting out. You can get out of here in about 2 days as long as you agree to complete a treatment program. Can I do one about 30 minutes from my house? Like I want to choose where I go to treatment. I'm an entitled fucking addict. I go about 30 minutes away from my house. Yeah, make sure it's like poolside. Make sure they have fresh linens. It's the water pressure. They could get my clothes from my friend's house where I was picked up at, so that my clothes are already there. That would be fantastic too. Yeah, so I know that every person in that room was looking at me like, wow, these drugs have really fucked her brain. ... Go to part 3, love.